it's past 2 in the morning, but kind of celebrating the fact that my dad seems cancer free. Almost 3 weeks ago, he looked like, well, actually, it was about 2.5 weeks ago. 2.5 weeks ago, looked like he was only had like 2 weeks of life left from having pancreatic cancer. They didn't say pancreatic cancer. They didn't say that he had a pancreatic mass. Of course, first they said it started off. This was 2 centimeter spot, and then on his pancreas, and they said pancreatic mass, and his liver was compromised, and anyway, all the symptoms. Oh, they said bile duct cancer too. Yes, diagnosed with bile duct cancer, the same cancer that killed a friend of mine 11 years ago. He was only 46 at the time. But the symptoms my friend described in his blog 2 weeks before he died matched the symptoms of my dad. And I thought, oh my gosh, he's gone. Luckily for my dad, he lives in the present. Yeah, doesn't really worry about the future. Seems to have no fear of cancer, and he made to me. Well, anyway, I want to tell you something. I had 20 milligrams of THC in edible form. I was using it to experiment again with chess to see if it affected my ability, and it didn't affect it this time. I was kicking butt no matter how. Yeah, and I always played a guy who beat me a couple of games at the beginning, but then I started beating him all the time, and so apparently being stoned doesn't affect chess playing ability. I didn't see a decline in my ability to play chess. Still, it was like it didn't really. I don't know if it improved it, but anyway, didn't see a decline either. But anyway, back to my dad. He had pain. It was the pain that got him into the hospital. He said, my mom asked him, on a scale from 1 to 10, is it 10? And he said yes. So that's what got him in the hospital. And then they tried to drain off the fluid because his bile duct wasn't working. And supposedly it was cancerous. We didn't know at the time, but had to. At that same description was with my friends over 11 years, 2 weeks before he died, in his blog. Anyway, and then the ammonia buildup in him, it made him stupid. I mean, it was scary to watch him go down. Oh man, he didn't even know what a feather was, but he came back. They did something, and we were able to take the ammonia out of his system. And anyway, from what the doctors described with my dad, again, it sounded like he only had 2 weeks left, just like my friend with his bile duct cancer. Anyway, because it looked hopeless for my dad, I was depressed. But my mom said, "Hey, what about she's been studying cancer like you wouldn't believe. I mean, she's been studying it probably ever since her grandmother died of breast cancer. So cancer does run in the family, at least on my mom's side. And apparently, well, who knows? Apparently my dad's side too, because it seems like he really did have cancer. But anyway, she, well, the stuff she described to me, I thought, that's quackery. You know, I thought the quackery. And my dad's pain got worse and worse. And then she started giving him the anti-cancer stuff. And then the pain became less and less. His old geezer voice disappeared and he sounded like himself again. He still didn't have an appetite, but but as the pain becomes less and less, it doesn't have the pain medication is less and less also, and he's starting to get his appetite back. He's becoming regular again. It really seems like what we're giving him. Now this is what the doctor's saying. He was either he was either, well, they think he was misdiagnosed because he's getting better now. Hospice doesn't have to show up as much as it did. And what's kind of funny is hospice was with my dad almost 3 years ago. Hospice was with my dad because I thought he was going to be dead from dementia. Had terminal Alzheimer's. They only had like a couple of weeks there too, and he was. But then we were experimenting with the stuff there too, and he started coming back, and he was never totally back. As I say, he's kind of living in the present, but it doesn't think about the future. Yeah. But his paranoid delusions and are gone. You know, he doesn't think my mom and I are trying to kill him anymore, and seems to love us. Yeah. But anyway, it happened again with hospice. They're not showing up anymore because they don't need them, and we don't need hospice help. And for one thing, hospice is not to get you better; it's to make things easier for you to die. Is what comes down to it. And they're not around like they used to be. That's for sure. Because my dad doesn't need them. He gets along fine. He goes to the toilet by himself. You know, he's his stomach is still big. That's the problem. But the doctor said it's because of scar tissue in the bile duct. No mention of bile duct cancer this time, though, I noticed. And what it comes down to is that maybe the doctors are right. He was misdiagnosed. Or the stuff they were given him wasn't quackery. That's what it comes down to it. Now, if you are watching this video, I know I'm blasted out of my head with this THC experimenting with in the edible form, but if you feel that what I gave him was what cured him, and you want to know what it is, I will let you know what it is in another video. And of course, you think, probably misdiagnosed, then you don't care. But I will let you know if I see a lot of comments in this video saying, yes, I want to see it. I'll make a video, let you know what it was, in case it wasn't quackery, and that's what cured my dad. Because again, it could have been misdiagnosis. Then again, it could have been the stuff that my mom had been studying for all these years. And she really did know, and it wasn't quackery. You know? Well, I want to let you know something. 5 years ago, actually it started about 7 years ago, I noticed there was something strange in my bladder. You know, so, felt kind of weird. And it got worse and worse and worse. And then started pissing blood clots, and I thought, I'm done. I thought I had terminal bladder cancer, is what came down to it. Yeah, I did pray, I think, a couple of times. What I did is I decided to really not eat anything, and instead take turmeric and pomegranate juice in water, sparkling mineral water like this, like La Croix, but it was something else from Trader Joe's. And then the blood clots got smaller and smaller, and on the third day, they were just white. They weren't red and crumbling. It was, I think those were tumors that came out. But then again, I was never diagnosed, so yeah. But if I did have cancer, and if I did cure it with pomegranate juice and that sparkling mineral water, and then turmeric, then there's more than one way to cure cancer. Yeah. So, at least you know now what cured me if I had bladder cancer. It wasn't diagnosed. I just thought for sure I was, terminal. Yeah, starting. Yeah. I got a bladder cancer, and then the blood tumors, blood clots. So anyway, but I thought, well, hey, if I'm going to go with the bladder cancer, okay, whatever, But I thought, well, no, I'll experiment here. So I did, and then again, I never had a problem after that. Never had a problem with that after that. So who knows? Maybe it was cancer, and I did pay out those tumors. Yeah. I don't know. But if you are watching this and you want to know what it was that might have cured my dad if he wasn't misdiagnosed, he did have bladder cancer, and that it did spread to his pancreas and liver, and we did turn around. He's not totally turning around because he does have that bloated stomach still, but he's not complaining about pain at all. So, and he's getting his appetite back more and more. I mean, it seems like, yeah, his pain was getting worse and worse, and we're giving him more medicine. It was scary. Morphine, I believe it was, but then it started going away. Now he hasn't had a pain pill since it's almost been 48 hours. So he might have really been cured, or again misdiagnosed. So anyway, that's my story. Yeah, I want you to know. I actually hope he did have cancer, and that we did cure him, because my friend who went through the same cancer, And before that, my girlfriend who went through breast cancer, she had 4-stage breast cancer. They went through the conventional route with the chemo and the radiation and the cutting and all that stuff and the radiation, the chemo, and it didn't. They're trying to buy themselves some time. They knew they're terminal. Well, at least my male friend thought he was terminal, whereas my girlfriend, I think she lived in denial. Instead of out trying to have fun, she continued to edit a reputable journal for a company. Never, yeah. And then once it got into her lungs and she started having a hard time breathing, yeah, she was no longer my girlfriend. You can't breathe. You start freaking out. Believe me, I went through it yesterday. I experimented with my writing. I write novels, and I thought, I'm gonna drink 1 bottle of yerba mate. I'm gonna drink an espresso. It was really nice. It had the cream that made a design, but it was made with cardamom and stuff, and it was really good. And I had a green jasmine iced tea, and then I had something called an A-bomb that my friend made. Well, I can't. Well, he was. Yeah, he works in that cafe. You'd say he was a barista, yeah, or barista or something like that. But anyway, he said, "Look, if you're trying to see what caffeine, is done if an overdose, try this." And he gave me that car bomb. I don't know, it was a car bomb. Atom. It was called A bomb. A bomb, yes. And he said once it kicks in, you better go out jogging. And I said, caffeine doesn't, bother me. And really, for all those hours that was on those first 3, no problem. But I went for a walk, came back, and then had that A bomb, and I was trying to write, again. And I was, I really. But then it kicked in, and I was like, oh my gosh! I started getting, and I couldn't write. After that, I had to get out, and Interesting thing is, it went away. It went away, and I was tired, Yeah. And then my boss took me and Phil Helper out to a Mexican restaurant in Berkeley, and expensive and crappy. Tastes like it was healthy. That's all I can say. But after I ate that Mexican food, all of a sudden the the caffeine kicked in again, and I was, oh my gosh! And then we're driving back, and it just got worse and worse and worse to the point where I felt like I was almost about ready to suffocate or have the heart stop, and yeah. What kept me from freaking out is if I kept on moving my hands around and looking like I was a spastic guy. That's what kept my heart from feeling like I was going to die. But I can imagine how my girlfriend felt when she couldn't get the air into her lungs, and that suffocating feeling. Oh my gosh! But anyway. That chemo and that radiation didn't do my friends. Just tortured them. They were in the 4 stages, And my dad apparently was in the last stage. A bile duct cancer, they just sent him home. Of course, he is in his 80s. Me thought, why bother? Torture an old man. Just to buy him, who knows what. So maybe that was, maybe it was a good thing they sent him home to die. Well, I think it was, because it allowed me and my mom to experiment on him. And again, if he was cured from that, stuff we gave him. Yeah. That gives you and anyone you know who has cancer a lot of hope. A lot of hope, big time. Yeah. Anyway, bye. How much time do I have? Oh my